long, visually beautiful, and controversial. The movie was okay. It wasn't bad, but it wasn't good. I felt like it was a bit too long. They could have condensed it a bit. But to be fair, it is a biopic, and majority of biopics are long, especially Elvis. Elvis didn't really seem too long, even though the person I went with said it was like they were in the cinema for hours, which they were in the cinema for hours, but they said they felt like it was dragging. This one, I didn't think Elvis was dragging. This one, I did feel like it was dragging. There were times where I did lose focus and I was just on my phone. There were other times I was really invested in the film. But yeah, it was okay. It was an okay film. Visually, it was magnificent. It reminded me of an A24 film. Is it A24? A24 film. Very similar in terms of its aesthetics. I love the aspect ratios they were using. I was a bit confused though why the aspect ratios were changing up so much, because I never, like, back in the day, movie aspect ratios were just one aspect ratio you'll see throughout the whole film, but now these directors are getting adventurous. But overall, it was an okay film. However, there was a lot of controversy behind this movie, especially coming from women. They feel, and not just women, but I'd say Marilyn Monroe supporters. I'm not too familiar with Marilyn Monroe. Like, I don't really know her history, her background, nothing like that. So people might disagree with me saying that the first quarter of the film I found to be interesting and it did catch my attention. I actually thought it was going to be a good movie, but then it kind of went downhill. The reason why it went downhill for me is just because it got too long and I just lost interest. However, I have seen why other people have warned other people not to watch this film. They say that it's not accurate whatsoever, even though the production team, apparently they said that it was an actual portrayal of Marilyn Monroe's life, but the audience have confirmed that this is not based on Marilyn Monroe's life. Pretty much, they said this is false. What we're watching, the whole JF Kennedy scene, the relationship between Marilyn Monroe and her mother, and it was kind of weird that she kept on saying daddy a lot as well. I understood what they were trying to do with that, but yeah, what pretty much the audience was saying, this was misogynistically created. They made Marilyn Monroe, they portrayed Marilyn Monroe as a victim and a piece of meat. I understand where the audience is definitely coming from with that. At times, not even at times, throughout the whole film, Marilyn Monroe is pretty much a victim, which was pretty surprising because I have heard some facts about her. They said she was an advocate of the civil rights movement back in the 50s. And yeah, pretty much Marilyn Monroe, what I'm getting from audience reaction on Twitter is Marilyn Monroe wasn't no sucker, but they made it seem like she was a sucker in this film, which I understand why there's outrage. I don't necessarily think the directors were trying to be misogynistic, and maybe the director might have had a sick fantasy around Marilyn Monroe that he wanted to portray, which people in the audience were saying. Maybe, I do not know. I want to give the director the benefit of the doubt, but I understand why there's outrage. I don't necessarily think he was trying to be misogynistic, but I think he completely went off the rails. Because if this wasn't an accurate portrayal of her life story, then apparently this was based on a fictional book or something, a novel. I'm not too sure, but that's what that's the consensus around Twitter, that it was based on some fictional novel. I think so, but yeah, like I said, it was okay, and I understand why there's outrage. I don't think it was a terrible movie, but I do think they made her look. I do think they victimized her too much, and I was a bit disappointed that we didn't see a different side of Marilyn Monroe, because it just seemed very sexual and beaten up on. Like, she was getting beaten on a lot of the times, whether it was physically, emotionally. And yeah, so I'm pretty sure that wasn't Marilyn Monroe's character. I'm pretty sure, because for you to be an actress, a woman actress in the day and age that you're living in, and for you to be an advocate of the civil rights movement, you have to be a strong, independent woman, pretty much. Yeah, pretty much. You're gonna have to be very strong-minded. Anyways, yeah, I think they forgot not even forgot. I think I don't even know if they purposefully didn't add in a different side to Marilyn Monroe. I think they just said, okay, we're just gonna keep to this one lane. Whereas this is a biopic, so I think in biopics you have to go into different lanes, man. You have to show her good side, her bad side, her vulnerable side. They just showed her vulnerable side throughout this whole film, which I understand why the audience was pretty much livid. And listen, I don't disagree with what the audience is saying, but I don't necessarily agree to the full extent. But yeah, it was an okay film for me. Would I recommend you to go and watch it? I don't know. Bye. Oh, I forgot. The performances though, amazing. Performances, amazing. Did I mention that it was visually beautiful? It reminded me of an A24 movie. Like, I did mention that, didn't I? I did, I think I did. But yeah, visually beautiful. Just aesthetics, beautiful. Yeah. Acting, amazing as well. Even though the casting was a bit interesting. Anna there, I forgot her full name, but I was a bit surprised that they chose Anna to play Marilyn Monroe. At times you could hear her accent a bit come out, but it doesn't matter. I feel like she did an amazing job. It's so hard to cry on the spot. She pulled that off amazingly. Overall it was an okay film though. It was an okay film, and yeah, bye.